The preamble is over. Rod Tucker's looking round the field. He's got his right arm outstretched. Rory Burns is ready to go. The crowd absolutely cannot contain themselves any longer. And the 2021-22 Ashes is about to get underway with Rory Burns facing the first ball from Mitchell Starc, who's bowling from the Stanley Street end, left arm over the wicket. In he goes, and the first ball, he bowls him! He's bowling first ball! Behind his legs, quick, swinging, and Rory Burns has got his bat tucked under his arm, and just moments after leaving the dressing room for the walk out to the middle, he's on his way back. What an absolutely shattering start. Full, fast, swinging. He went behind his legs. They're checking the no ball. It's okay, it's a fair delivery. What a start.
Phenomenal. It's quick, straight. The strangest thing, it's just the tiniest sliver of leg stump you can see around Rory Burns' pads, and he somehow manages to sneak it round. It arcs round his heel, pitches just in front of the stumps, and Mitchell Starc, who's so famous for bowling his Yorkers in white ball cricket, and I'm sure he would not have meant that first ball of the Ashes. He'd have just wanted it full straight, somewhere near off stump. It's probably come out slightly wrong, but it hoops around Rory Burns' legs, and England are none for one off of 0.1 overs, and as so often happens, the first ball of the Ashes provides absolute drama again.
What do you feel if you're Rory Burns, who'll now be back in the dressing room? He left it a couple of minutes ago, and it's all over.
You'd probably be feeling pretty unlucky, I think, to get bowled round your legs in that manner. It must have been the tiniest sliver of leg stump even on show there, and Mitchell Starc's managed to hit it. What a phenomenal start.
Well. David Malan has arrived. England are 0 for 1 after one ball. I mean, he couldn't make it up. I mean, and every imaginable scenario that you think about as you build up to this first test match. England losing a wicket first ball. They lost a wicket fourth ball in 10-11. They went on to win the Ashes, but first ball? Listen to the crowd. Stark's on his way, and he's bowling to Malan. He's there now, and he bowls to him, and he pushes forward, he gets the ball away through the slips, down to a vacant third man for 4, and England can breathe.
I can breathe as well now. When you saw that take the outside edge there as well, you thought, oh no, not again. Not again.
I mean, it's just, it is absolutely incredible. And you think of the first balls and the history of first balls of the Ashes. You say you got Michael Slater clubbing Philip de Freitas for 4. You got Steve Harmison bowling a second slip, and this one you just have to add to that list of history. First ball, Rory Burns bowled 4 for 1. Has there ever been a wicket with the first ball of the Ashes? It's that moment for Andy Zaltzman.
But there has, Aggers.
Has there?
Yeah. On this self-same ground.
No.
1936-37. Stanley Worthington of England, first ball of the 36-7 Ashes, was bowled a short ball by the Australian fast bowler McCormick. He essayed one of the worst pull shots in cricketing history. There's footage on, I think, of Pathé News on YouTube, you can see, and it bluted up in the air, was caught behind by Bert Oldfield. 0 for 1, but here's a positive. Aggers, England went on to win that test.
Right, well, okay, well, we like that, but crikey, so he'd have had the boat journey and everything to prepare to get the first ball.
Yeah, they'd have had about 25 days of cricket.
Bat raised, very still as Starc bowls. It's full, and he drives that, and this is an emphatic stroke. England's best of the morning so far, and brings Hamid 4 runs between the bowler and mid-off, and there was nothing wrong with that. It was a lovely shot, and perfectly timed, well placed. Starc again pitching up, again the right tactic for him to do, but a really nice response there from Hamid.
Decisive, wasn't it? Full of a length, or fuller than full of a length. It was a half volley, but Starc giving this ball every opportunity to swing these new Kookaburra balls that have been spoken about in the build-up to this test match, and lovely full face of the bat from Hamid.
11 for 1 in the fourth. And good old Aussie TV, we're seeing about every replay possible now of Burns' dismissal. In goes Hazelwood and bowls. That's edged and caught behind. Malan's out. And England lose their second wicket. Hazelwood absolutely bang on there with the line. We talked about that foolish length. And Malan hanging back there in the crease a little bit. He's feathered an edge, and Carey's taken his first catch in Test cricket. And now, as we said, well, the last thing England need is for Joe Root to be out there at 20 for 2, 30 for 2 all the time, but he's going to be doing it again. He's been in the form of his life during the summer, but this is now going to be a huge challenge for England's captain, who's coming out having won the toss and chosen to bat with his team on 11 for 2. And what a challenge this is going to be. Lovely piece of bowling again.
Wonderful bowling, wonderful bowling. A wobble seam delivery here from Josh Hazelwood. He's not holding the seam perfectly, seam up. It's wobble seam in order to get that movement off of this green grassy wicket, and it's angled towards leg stump and then just leaves David Malan from a beautiful length, a 50-50 length where you can go neither forward nor back to it. Kisses the outside edge, takes very thin edge, and all of the Australians in the slips knew straight away.
Hazelwood rolling in to bowl to Root. It's full, and Root plays. That was a beauty from Hazelwood, just going away from the right-hander. It felt like a scoring ball for Root there. Here's one to get off the mark, push that through extra cover, that sort of thing. It left him. A really fine delivery from Hazelwood.
Wonderful bowling, but angled in towards off stump. The seam's perfectly upright. He bowled the wobble seamer to get David Malan out, and it ran across him. This one, the seam's bolt upright, just kisses the outside quarter of the seam and nips away, and just misses the edge of Joe Root's bat. It's wonderful bowling, good to watch, not if you're an England fan.
11 for 2. Root yet to score. Hazelwood bowls to Root, and Root is struck on the pad there. That one nipped back at him. Went away into the offside. Root's got a smile, and I suppose he often does when he's batting, especially when it's testing. So he's got one to go away and one to nip back. And Root comes down the pitch to do some gardening. And I imagine it's quite a firm surface, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think so. Sometimes, when you've had all that rain around in England, the pitch just starts to fraction down, and the ball takes little divots out of it, just fractional divots. And as they dry over 3 or 4 days, then it becomes quite difficult to bat on. But I presume this is quite a firm surface. Hazelwood bowls full to Root, edges, and he's caught. He's caught by Warner at first slip. Root's gone for naught. England are 11 for 3. And Hazelwood has picked up his second wicket. Root pushing at it, nicked it, and a straightforward catch really to Warner at slip. And England in big trouble after winning the toss and batting first on a green pitch in overcast conditions at the Gabba. Hazelwood last ball of the over, bowls to Hamid, who knocks that away into the onside, possibly off the thigh pad. We'll need to wait for the signal from the umpire. Paul Rifle's going to signal leg by, goes out backward a square. So another run to England, and it's 15 for 3. We've had 8 overs, really good tight bowling from Australia, and wickets as well. Hamid has 8, Stokes has 1. We're going to have a change here, more from Stuart Clark, and then for the first time on commentary, it's a big welcome back to Jim Maxwell.
Morning, Jim. It's good to see a couple of Aussies running the BBC commentary.
Well, the Aussies are running the show at the moment as Cummins runs in and bowls the ball. It's thick-edged, inside edge around the corner down towards fine leg where Hazelwood is fielding, and an awkward, uncomfortable start for England after winning the toss. Cummins around the wicket draws a drive of sorts from Stokes. He was on the move as Cummins arrived and punched it straight to head down there at mid-off. He stopped it, and that brings the end of the over. So it's 3 for 16. 16 for 3 if you like, folks. Hamid's 8 and Stokes is 1, and Hazelwood 4 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 2. Cummins 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 3. Stark bowls, he drives at this, and it's gone off a fast edge to third man for 4. It could have gone anywhere. Well, it did. It didn't go to hand. It went up and over and wide of third slip. It was a well-struck snick, you'd have to say, but it was not a shot of a confident batsman, more one searching for something to aim a shot at. And luckily for Hamid, he got a fair bit on it and it flew away over third or fourth slip for 4.
Well, it was an educated edge, wasn't it? Right in the gap between third slip and gully. You'd be careful with Cameron Green. He's the tallest man. It's like Joel Garner standing at gully. So if you get anywhere within his arm length, he'll catch it. He's got a great pair of hands.
3 for 20.
Cummins is at the top of his mark now and runs in. Stokes drives elegantly through the covers. That's running away up towards the boundary for 4. That was a superb shot from Stokes. He just leant on that. It was foolish. It was not quite a long half volley, but Stokes threaded that between cover and mid-off up to the boundary for 4. His first boundary off his 18th ball.
Yes, no, good shot by Ben Stokes. We just commented there, he's starting to look a little bit more proactive at the crease. He's done his time, so to speak, and hung around there, 18 and 19 deliveries. Just looking to be a little bit more attacking now. Slightly full from Cummins, looking for that movement, but beautiful cover drive.
Here's Cummins into Stokes. Oh, edges, and has caught at third slip. Labuschagne takes the catch. A thick edge, Labuschagne diving away to his left, takes it with 2 hands. England have lost their 4th, they're 29 for 4. Stokes has to go for 5, and Australia are rampant here.
Beautiful bit of bowling by Pat Cummins, angled in, round the wicket to the left-handed Stokes. Just that little bit of wobble seam, got big on him, hit almost the shoulder of the bat, and just pretty comfortable catch. Didn't particularly go very quickly to Labuschagne, who just had to dive, watch it into the hands and make sure the elbows didn't pop the ball out. England in all sorts of trouble here in the first morning. 4 for 29. I don't know whether it can get any worse. Well, it can do.
Well, don't say that, Phil. What was noticeable there was that Stokes ended up playing that, having been turned right round. So there must have been a bit of movement off the pitch. It's a green pitch.
Yeah, there is a green pitch, and it's overcast skies. It's one of those days. The Aggers would be licking his lips.
You want to bowl.
You want to bowl. You just feel that you kind of, you're getting your rhythm and you get the ball moving around a bit. There's bounce there. The bounce. Stokes before that had been leaving nicely off the bounce. A couple of ones have actually gone over middle stump, but just from back of a length have flown over the top. This time, as you say, he got sort of like curtain railed and played it almost with both shoulders facing down the pitch. Thick edge gone. Ollie Pope, what's he thinking? What's going through his mind now?
Stark is in and Pope drives.
Shot.
Square of the wicket, down towards the deep backward point boundary. 4. It's going to get onto the boundary sponge. Yes, it does. It plops onto it for 4. And that is, when people say that Ollie Pope reminds them of Ian Bell, it is that shot. The square drive, he got right out to it and pushed his hands at it. Came out of the middle of the bat and it went along the ground for a much-needed boundary for England.
43 for 4. Stark again. Bowls very full outside the off stump. He's chased it. He's driven it out through the extra cover area. Long chase for the fielder. He's not going to get there. And a rare and very welcome boundary for England. It was a loose ball. Stark does bowl the odd loose ball. I mean, his average is 32, 33. So he's an attacking bowler. I think you've got to say that. He does look for that full ball. This time, trying to perhaps push that away from the right-handed Pope. It was pretty wide. So Pope at full strength, full stretch, rather, having to hit that for 4. 47 for 4. 49 for 4. Hamid's on 19. And Lyon's going to bowl to him, still with 3 men round the bat. That's a fuller ball, flicked into the onside. They're going for that quick single. And, well, he's made his ground there. Bit harum, scarum. Cummins, the man throwing up to the wicketkeeper's end. But we have to say that Pope responded very well to Hamid's call there. Hamid goes to 20. And the 50's up for England. It's been hard work in the 22nd over. And they've lost 4 wickets on the way. So a real battle.
Lyon to Hamid, who's back and angling that away with an open face down towards deep third. Runs from here, 2, possibly 4. Yep, it's scuttled away to the rope down at deep third. So 4 more runs to Hamid, who's been compact, tight in defence and watchful, and just occasionally he's opened up. That was a nice shot. We saw him play spin really well in India in his Test match debut. He's on to 24. And England are 55 for 4 with 5 minutes to go until lunch on this first day. This is Lyon's 4th over, the last ball of it, and the last ball of the morning session coming up. Moves in now to bowl to Hamid, and Hamid blocks that one as well. Dead bats it into the offside. Carey steps forward to pick up, and there is no run. So a sort of mini recovery from England, but clearly Australia's morning. Wicket with the first ball, 3 other wickets, and they have controlled the session. Pope and Hamid doing their best just to edging back into it towards lunch, but massive advantage Australia in that first session. 59 for 4 at lunch.
I still haven't written England off. If they can get to me, Butler and how he plays will be really interesting because they pick him on his potential for Gilchrist-like batting. He hasn't done that. Therefore, I'd be picking the best wicketkeeper in Australia, who is Foakes. But Butler could prove me wrong by playing well here.
But these two have done well, and they've just got to start again now. You've got to, as you say, not look at the scoreboard, look at every ball, not look at the bowlers. Just look at the ball and go about your business and slowly get into your work. And that's good for having Pope out there because he's busy.
Cummins in, edged and gone. Hamid's got to go. He's caught at second slip. Smith with the catch. It was in the channel outside the off stump, pushing forward slightly tentatively was Hamid. Ball may have just held its line slightly. A good thick edge, and is taken at second slip in the first over after lunch, just as England were looking to get through this tricky session. Well, they haven't got through this tricky over. They're 60 for 5.
Great delivery on and around off stump. We were saying that the Australian bowlers before lunch perhaps were guilty of bowling a little bit too short, and and Hamid was leaving on length. That one angled in wide of the crease. That wobble seam, perfect, that fuller length. Hamid had to play that, otherwise it was knocking his off stump out the ground. And it just nipped away and got the edge. Well caught by Smith, got to go for 25. But yeah, I like what I saw there from Hamid. 75 balls, chewed up some of those deliveries and got a 25. But,
Yep. Well, look, it's a good bit of bowling.
Yes, it is.
Australia's captain. He's
Simple
got 2 for
as that.
17, and if you put it in that area, as exactly as you said, didn't see quite as many balls in that channel as we might have done.
I'll tell you what that area is. It's that sort of Stuart Broad area.
Oh, well, I think he will enjoy that when he comes to bowling. No.
Come on. Here we go. Josh Butler. Now, how's Josh going to bowl? As I say, listening to Ian Chappell there, he said that he plays that. He's in for playing that kind of explosive counter-attacking role. It's going to be difficult on this wicket.
I don't think, though, that that's strictly speaking an accurate reflection of the way Butler plays. I think we've always imagined that he will play this counter-attacking role, but actually he tends, when England are up against it, to be fairly defensive, actually.
And one thing he's got to look to try and do is that sometimes early doors, Josh Butler doesn't move his feet. He's got such beautiful hands and beautiful eye that he gets a little bit caught in the crease. He sort of looks to go forward and then sort of almost pulls that front foot back and can just leave a gap between bat and pad. Got to get those feet moving here. England in real trouble, 5 for 60.
Hazlewood is in again, 3 slips, and Butler drives nicely through the covers, through his hands at that. It's run away through extra cover and will plop onto the sponge for 4 more. 65 for 4.
Yeah, lovely shot. Bit of a sucker ball perhaps from Hazlewood, full and wide. And this time Butler did get a good stride out to it, as you say, and he'll look to put them away. No real risk in that shot. Got a good meet of the bat on it, flew through extra cover.
Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, but a warning that Radio 4 long-wave listeners are leaving us for the shipping forecast.
To Pope, gets a short one, and that spat off the pitch. And Pope's played that really well in the end. He's managed to get it down into the ground, and that wasn't that short, and yet it's risen off this pitch. I think, again, what Ian Chappell was saying, there'll be something still in this pitch when Australia come out to bat.
Yeah, that's turned him up, squared him up. As you say, the angle in, slight angle in, and just seamed away, bounce, hit him in the back bicep. That'll be sore.
Yeah.
That'll be sore. That'll sting. Don't rub it.
No, he's not rubbed it.
No, very, very good. Very good. I would have been crying.
Covers in, thick edge, rolls along the ground. As Hazlewood runs in, and it's driven in the air by Butler.
Go.
That is a counter-attacking shot over extra cover and out to the boundary for 4. It was full, but Butler has gone after that, and maybe he is going to take a counter-attacking approach. 73 for 5. Butler moves to double figures.
Well, I can remember talking to Brendan McCullum. As you say, great shot. That was a good length ball. Hit it on the rise and just popped it straight over mid-off's head. 2 bounce 4.
Last ball of the 38th over. As this been lofted again by Butler. This time over mid-on, and it's going to run. Run. It's going to plug, is what it's going to do, and it's going to plug about 1 yard inside the boundary at a very straight mid-on. I think the bat slightly turned in his hand there. He got a lot of elevation. And then when it landed, it just stayed exactly where it was. He's come back for 3 runs there. Moves to 14. England 74 for 5.
Butler's on strike. Hazelwood's there. He bowls. It's full. Comes flirting away off an edge, though, trying to drive that down the ground. And Lyons able to field just behind square in the offside, but Butler looking to play that straight.
So what'll be interesting is if Butler gets to a point around about now, thinking, righto, well, I've got started, now I've got to play traditionally. And I think he might get himself into bother. I think he's got to keep playing that naturally aggressive style, and if it comes off, it'll be terrific for England.
Well, sometimes when the bowler's got the initiative, it can swing round when someone just comes in and tries to take control. Hazelwood bowled. Oh, he's hit him over mid-off. Launched him away. Over, well, long off really. The ball dribbling towards the boundary. Won't go all the way again because of the slowness of the outfield, but good running. They'll come back for 3. And yep, going straight down the ground and over the top again. And Butler moves to 20.
And the thing about this innings is it hasn't been done to Hazelwood, and he's taking Hazelwood on. And you're quite right. If somebody can come in and play that sort of innings, you can turn the game around.
Butler waits. Stark bowls short, pulled away by Butler, down towards fine leg. It's stopped on the rope, knocked back by Hazelwood. And Butler comes back for 2 runs. Indeed he does, and there's the England 100 up. It was a good positive shot from Butler, dropped in short by Stark. Swivel pull by Butler down towards fine leg. I think they're just checking whether Hazelwood was in contact. Pope swung it away down towards the rope down there at fine leg. Yeah, I think he was okay. So Pope
Stark
goes to
trying to find the right
100 up for England.
Delivery here to get some miscue. He bowls and he beats the edges. He caught. He's out. He's nicked it. He pushed at the line. That was the ball he wanted. And Butler pushed at it as it bounced and got the thinnest of edges straight to Carey, and he was on his way. A big breakthrough. Mitchell Stark has done it, just as Butler looked like setting in for a long time at the crease. There's no problem with the front foot as the examination continues, and he's on his way. Beautifully bowled by Stark.
Excellent delivery from Stark. The ball before pushing it full across Jos Buttler, inviting the drive, but the width and the length on that meant that Jos Buttler could just throw his hands at it. This one pitches around leg stump. It's a good length, passes Jos at about waist high, just takes the faintest of edges with the angle going across him from Mitchell Stark, and a good riposte from Mitchell Stark. But England will be disappointed now. I mean, they were disappointed anyway, but that partnership was just building, and as Jim mentioned a couple of times, it was threatening to make it into a partnership that could bring England into some sort of position in the game to be able to give themselves something to bowl at. But now I fear that a lot rests on Chris Woakes' head here to build a partnership with Ollie Pope. Otherwise, Australia could be laughing come tea time.
Yes, a huge wicket in the context of this. And Stark's taken 2 very good wickets today. Of course, the very first ball he bowled knocked Burns over behind his legs, and now his second wicket, 2 for 32 in his 11th over. And Pat Cummins out there just getting the troops organised this way and that. 6 for 112. It was 3 for 11. It was 4 for 59 at lunch, and then 5 for 60. So that partnership threatened to really turn things around, but Stark has got the breakthrough.
Yeah, the partnership 52 from 13.5 overs. If I can update the final ball after they brought up the half-century partnership. Butler 39 from 58 with 6 fours.
Now it's Green is on and is top edged around the corner. He could be caught in the deep. He's beautifully caught. Magnificent catch by Hazelwood. Top edge. Cameron Green gets his first Test wicket off a top edge. It floated in the air, tantalisingly in front of Hazelwood, who came in and got his hands under it just before it hit the deck. The 7th wicket goes down for 118, and Pope's excellent innings comes to an unhappy end, really, from what was just a bit of a loosener from Cameron Green, and he spooned it off the top edge to find that.
Yeah, he certainly did. A little bit of extra bounce. Just looking at the replay, good as gold with the foot placement for the no ball. But Cameron Green, there's one thing about him, that he's a little bit bigger than the average Joe, so the bit of extra bounce. But this is a super catch by Josh Hazelwood. He's run about 20 yards to his left, dived full length coming forward and taken a catch probably 5 centimetres, 6 centimetres off the ground. But Cameron Green's bowled a lot of good deliveries in his short test career, and they've all beaten the edge or not gone to hand, and he's bowled let's call it a stinky half-tracker, Jim, for want of a better term, and it's top edged, and he's got his first test wicket. The Australians are celebrating. Good innings that by Pope, though. I give him credit. He fought hard, 35 off 79, but in the end, a good catch by Hazelwood off the bowling of Cameron Green, who sort of walks back to his mark with his shell-shocked look on his face at the moment.
Well, I remember my first Test wicket. It could have been a screaming Yorker. It could have been an outswinger. It could have been a shortish ball, maybe not a long hop, but it did take the top edge, and it could have gone anywhere, but Hazelwood was good enough to catch it handy.
The first ball of his 47th over as a Test bowler.
There you go.
Well done him.
Little
Not
bit.
so good for England at 7 for 118 now.
You know what the beauty of your first test wicket is? The longer you're away from the game, Jim, the better the ball becomes. And it's like your first run or your first 4. The longer it is between when it happened and now, or the present, speed goes up, deviation goes up, flatter the wicket was as a bowler. If you're a batter, the wicket was very green. So all those other factors that go into to the success get better and better and better.
Green goes in, pitches up, and he's driven for 4. Wide of mid-off by Wokes. A beautiful stroke. And that was more enjoyable than the short delivery. And he leant into a half volley and sent it away through the covers to the boundary. Wokes, 6. England, parlous, 7 for 122, you'd have to say. A few overs ago, it looked like they might escape with a reasonable score, but now, unlikely.
In goes Cummins and bowls. It's out. Robinson's out for naught. Driving outside the off stump. Foolish ball from Cummins. He's taken his 3rd wicket now. Another catch for Carey. And that was a bit of a disappointing end, really. He just drove at one outside the off stump. It was full, but there's a bit of width. And England subsiding here.
Yeah, it's always the challenge for any newcomer to the Brisbane Gabba Cricket Oval, in that the bounce is there and there's the pace off the wicket that you're just not used to, and it's very hard to replicate until you've done it a little bit. And I can, as a young guy going to Queensland to play in Sheffield Shield cricket, we used to get bowled out for all sorts of like 57 and 63 really? And really, really lame totals.
Yeah.
But it was so foreign to coming from Sydney, which is a little bit more what it's like playing in England at some of the county grounds and even the test grounds at Lords, and there's just too much pace. And until you get used to it and realise that a big full no feet throw your hands at one ends in disaster 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But if you can let that go for a period of time,
That was the mistake there, wasn't it, really? Just try and have a bit of... And I mean, he's better than tail-ender, Robinson. I mean, he can bat.
Oh, I've seen him play. I think he's got some ability with the stick.
He just got that one wrong, I'm afraid. Mark Woods arrived rather earlier than he might have wanted in the 45th over. He had plenty to say for himself, I'm sure. He's just tapped Wokes on the gloves there. He's heading up to the far end to go and take his guard. But there's a lot of Australian-sounding cheers we can hear coming there. He would average his 17 from his 22 games. He got a 50, but Again, it's just how there's a situation, the quality of the bowling, and the pitch.
He's a stroke maker, Wood, isn't he?
A shot player rather than stroke, I think. 122 for 8. And this is driven hard past Hazlewood. Good stroke that from Wokes. He's pitched up on the off stump. He's driven it for 4 straight down the ground. Some defiance, bit of resilience there. In goes Hazlewood. Bowls again, it's full. And once more it's driven. More of a slicey drive. But it's going to be 4 more. Through the gully. Wasn't quite where he was aiming, but that doesn't matter. And 4 more again off the front foot. And England 130 for 8. Hazlewood on his way, bowls. Oh, now what's happened there with Wokes? He's stepping away to the leg side and then got a fuller ball than he anticipated, and he's at the last minute dabbed it through third man for 4. What was that all about? It's like he was almost premeditating a short ball there, I think.
I think he was absolutely what he was doing.
And he's going to take it on.
Yeah, well, last ball of the over, a fair chance Hazlewood was going to bang it in to try and keep Wood on strike for Cummins. The old double bluff.
It's brilliantly played, actually.
It was lovely. I'll take 4 any day of the week.
Ran it away off a very thick outside edge for 4. Well, that was a funny one. Carey's enjoyed it. He's having a laugh with Wokes. In he comes again, and he bowls full this time. And Wood drives him for 4. Past mid-off's right hand. Wonderful stroke. 140 for 8. And the pair touch gloves. And Wokes is smiling. What a terrific shot that was.
As Cummins runs away in towards Wood. And Wood gets one. Oh, and he says, pop that up to short leg and is gone. Caught short into the ribs of Wood. He was looking to fend that away. It got big on him. And it's just bounced off probably the glove, I think. Glove, maybe a bit of bat handle, and it's looped so gently to forward short leg. He's got to go. England have lost their 9th. They're 144 for 9.
Yeah, another good bit of bowling by Pat Cummins. Mark Wood looking to take on the short ball from Hazlewood. A little bit quicker, a little bit more of an angle in towards Mark Wood as well. He was sort of shaping to pull it, but then just sort of got himself in a bit of a pickle and just managed to just sort of hit the bottom of the bat handle, really, and just plopped up. Comfortable catch to short leg. Good bowling, Pat Cummins. He's a wonderful bowler. He really is, and he's turning out to be a great opening Test match for him as a captain.
Well, he's the number 1 bowler in the world for a very good reason. 4 for 36. His figures now. It brings Jack Leach to the crease,
and he's not just pace. He's a thinker, and he changes angles, and that was definitely angled in with the short leg. It was a good bit of captaincy and a good bit of bowling.
He waits, this Leach, and then again comes forward. Perfect defence play with a slightly angled bat to Stark at backward point.
Yeah.
End of the over. 50 overs have been bowled. England 147 for 9. Leach has 2. Wokes has 21.
Right, I've had enough of that. Get the seamers back on. Played it easily, didn't he? Jack Leach just came forward, picked the length, picked the line nicely. Didn't try to go for the big sort of slog or trying to play the glory shot. He played that very comfortably and playing for his mate Wokes. 21 off at 23. He's done very nicely. Got a wonderful off drive, hasn't he? Chris Rose,
you've loved that, well, especially the off drive specifically. Really loved.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, that looks threatening.
The cloud is what Tuffers is referring to.
Sorry.
A very, very dark cloud is looming over the stands, and that is not Cummins tossing the ball from hand to hand. Although that is a dark cloud on England's horizons also, as Wokes waits for him. I'll come to you at the end of this ball, if I may, Andy. As Cummins runs in. And Wokes, it's a short ball. It's gone up in the air, out towards long leg, and it's been taken again. That's a super catch from Josh Hazlewood. It's 5 wickets for Pat Cummins. England have been bowled out for 147. A really terrific bowling performance from Australia, and especially their captain, Pat Cummins. Wokes, the last man to go. A short ball might have stopped in the pitch ever so slightly. Wokes didn't go fully through with a shot, got a thick top edge. And they went high down to long leg, where Hazlewood reprised the trick he had done earlier when he took the wicket of Pope, making a good diving, tumbling catch, moving forward with 2 hands. And I'm afraid, after winning the toss and choosing to bat first, England have been bundled out for 147.
Great catch. Great bit of bowling again, taking on the short ball. That bounced a little bit on him, didn't it? And Pat Cummins, just watching the pictures here, a massive smile on his face. What a debut as captain. 5 for. If it's easy as this, he'll be thinking to himself, I'm in for a nice, comfortable ride. But well bowled, Australia. England had some good balls, didn't they? But they'll be disappointed with that. How many times do we see an England side go to Australia and start slowly and get bundled out early? They'll be hugely disappointed. 147 all out.